Hi, welcome to Lesson 7 of the Full Stack Cloud Developer Preview course. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to send an email from our server to whatever email got entered into our form, letting the user know that they've been registered. So let's go ahead and see how we do that. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is set up an email service. So we're going to send an email to this address here when they register. So let's go ahead and take a look. Where would we want that? So we're going to add it to our notify me method. And so let's go ahead and do a search on App Engine, Java 11, send email. And then first document that shows up. Second one looks good too. So this is sending messages. So they've got a couple of services that run with App Engine. They've got Mailgun, Mailjet, Sendgrid is another one. And you can also do SMS and voice as well. All right, so let's go ahead and pick one. They're all pretty good. We've used Sendgrid before, so let's go ahead and use Sendgrid. We have 12,000 emails we could send a month for free. So let's go ahead and pick Sendgrid. And we'll start with the free plan. And so they have various plans here. 12,000 emails is more than enough. So we'll just go ahead and accept the terms. And then we understand subscription will be renewed, but luckily it's 0. So then we subscribe. I have to speed this up. Okay, and now we have to activate it, so we'll just register with Sendgrid, and it's going to pop up another browser window, and then we go ahead and register. So just put in a username and a password, and then our email address. So I'll use Full Stack Cloud Developer, and then go ahead and enter a password. Then confirm the password, and then I'll enter the email address that we'll be sending emails from. And it's fullstackclouddeveloper@gmail.com. Okay, and we'll accept the terms of service. Okay, we're all good. So let's return to Google. And now we've got a Sendgrid module in our App Engine project. So that API has been enabled. It's green. And so we need to do some other steps here to get set up. And so we're on the free plan. And then here's some code. We are using Java, however. Okay, now in the Sendgrid API, we're going to go ahead and do a search for Java code. So we'll type Sendgrid Java API. And we see here that Sendgrid actually has Java code example available on GitHub. And then the next thing is that we need to set up an API key. Here's some code right here as an example. So then let's go ahead and set up our key. So open this in a new tab. And then we'll log in. And I used Full Stack Cloud Developer as the username, so I'll need to change this. And my password. Okay, and then when I log in, I'll get to the Sendgrid dashboard. All right, since this is the first time we're logging in, we have to tell Sendgrid a little bit about ourselves, or myself. So I'll just go ahead and enter the information here. So company name, I'll just make it Full Stack Cloud Developer. New website. Don't really have one yet, but this is what it would probably be called. Phone number's not required. I'm going to say I'm a developer, not going to send very many emails, and don't have very many employees. And so now we'll get started and we'll be able to start sending emails. We need to get our API key first though. So we're probably not going to use that one. Let's see. The email API. All right, we're going to use the web API, so let's go ahead and click there. And then it's recommended, so let's click that and see where it takes us. Okay, this looks like something we would use. There's Java, so let's go ahead and choose Java. Okay, now we have detailed instructions. So make sure we have Java installed, and now we need to create an API key. So let's give it a name. And we'll be using this name in our application as well. Something simple. Sendgrid API key sounds good. And then there's our key. And they conveniently have copied it down below for us here with what we're going to need to paste into our terminal so that it sets up the environment variable for Sendgrid API key. So when we run it locally, it'll actually work for us. So let's copy that. And then I'll open a terminal window. And paste it in. Okay, and let's see if the value got set. So I'll do an echo on that variable. So the variable was $ in front and then Sendgrid API key. And there's the key setup. Okay, great. So that worked. Okay, what's next? Now we need to install the package. Let's see. Not very detailed here. That's a Gradle thing. We're not using Gradle, we're using Maven. So we'll talk about that, but they only have the Gradle instructions. We actually need the dependency XML for a Maven POM file. So, and there's the code we will use, but we'll need to import the Sendgrid classes in first. So let's go ahead and see, there's Maven. So let's go ahead and do a search for Sendgrid. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. They have their GitHub repository. Let's go there. They probably have an example or something there. So on the README down below, we've got a couple things here. And so it's telling us how to set up. Okay, we already did that. Okay, and then they've got the same example that we saw on that other page and the same example. Oh, they have a couple more examples. All right, so still not a Maven POM file XML snippet. Okay, let's just go to Maven Central here with the link they have, and we'll click on the latest, and then we'll just copy and paste it right here. Or copy it, and then we'll paste it in our code. All right, so let's go to our Maven POM file, which is in our root folder. And same as we did for Google Cloud, let's just go ahead and paste it right underneath there. And then we'll change the formatting a little bit. Don't need the comment, and then we'll save the file. Okay, now let's go ahead and create our first email. Okay, let's see, what we need is that code snippet now. So let's go ahead and go back to their README file because they had more examples. Let's see which one the best one is. So this one is with a helper class. It looks pretty good. And that's the one that they had on the other page too. So it's going to send a from email, which is nice. So we'll probably just go ahead and copy this one. That looks good. Okay, put that in our buffer, and then let's go back to the code. All right, so somewhere around here, we're going to want to go ahead and send an email. So after it's been written to the database, let's go ahead and make an email function, and we'll pass the email to it. So send email is the function name, and email is the parameter that's going to it. And we'll go ahead and extract this variable out, so that way we can reuse it. So it's going to be used here, and it's going to be used there. So let's go ahead and refactor it to pull out the variable, and let's name it email instead of child path. All right, and now we need an email function. So let's go ahead and use autocomplete to create this method. Okay, so that did that. So let's paste our email code here, and then we'll modify it. All right, we have a couple of imports to bring in. Luckily, we have that Maven Sendgrid import, so it'll have all these classes for us. So email is the first class, and then content's another one. And all I'm doing is hitting command dot, and it's bringing up a list of things to do. And you can't see this, but I'm picking the Sendgrid content up above there. There's a lot of content classes. All right, so mail is going to be another one that's right there on the top. And then Sendgrid. Okay, and then request. And then method. And it looks like we have one more for a response. So we want the Sendgrid domain. All right, so and then we have an exception that could be thrown. Let's just go ahead and add that. And that's just, again, it's just command dot, and it'll go ahead and give us a list of options. So first thing is the email. This is the from email, so we're going to make it fullstack clouddeveloper@gmail.com. Okay, and then we've got our email that we want to send. So we're going to send it to the email that we're passing in, because that's the one that's coming to us from the form. Okay, we've got our from there, and the mail is going to subject, and then a to, and then the content. So that's how we make a new mail. And then that's the same variable we used, so we don't have to make a change there. So that's good. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's just going to set the method, set the endpoint, and then actually do a send. So not much to it from here. Let's go ahead and make a couple more changes. We're going to want to change the subject. And let's change it to full stack cloud developer. Let's see, registration, course registration. Let's do that. And then let's send our set our email content. And okay, that's code that I had from another time I did this. So you've been added to the list, and then we'll say we'll notify you when registration begins. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that, and then we'll restart the server. So that was Control-C, and then I just run the same Maven Spring Boot run command, and then our server's back up. So let's go ahead and send an email. So I created a test email account too, so it's fullstackclouddevelopertest@gmail.com. So let's go ahead and send the email there. I'm going to have to type it out because I haven't used it yet. And so this is the test one. So that way the from is going to be from fullstackclouddeveloper@gmail.com, and the to is going to be to that same version with the test at the end of it. So there it is, and we should have an email in our test account. So there's our email, and it says course registration and exactly our message. So sending the email worked. Okay, so let's take a look at this email though. A couple things. It's getting sent from, that's correct, and then there's this via Sendgrid. Probably don't want that. And then it went to the right test account, so that's good. So it's mailed by Sendgrid. We don't want that, so let's go ahead and change how that works. So to change the via Sendgrid, we're going to want to authenticate our from. So we're going to go to our Sendgrid account, and under settings, we're going to go to sender authentication. So then we want domain authentication, so that way it'll go ahead and authenticate our domain when emails are sent from it. So let's go ahead and put in our source, our host. So that's going to be Google Cloud as the host. And then we don't need any branding. Okay, and then what domain are we sending from? So we're going to do fullstackclouddeveloper.com because I have this domain. And then it's going to want me to add a couple of names to it. So this is verifying with Sendgrid that I own the domain, so it can send the emails from that domain. So now I'm just going to go over to Google Domains, which is where I registered that domain. And then I'm going to add a few DNS entries so that Sendgrid can verify that I in fact own this domain. Let's see, no domains yet. So let's see. Let's say I added these records. I'm in AWS is where it is. I didn't do it with Google. So this is Route 53 in AWS is where I added these. So your domain could be from wherever you registered it. So I went ahead and added those records, copied exactly these in there, and I verified them with their verify process. There's a verify button way up at the top right. So that's how I verified it. And then I'm going to change where the email is coming from now. So let's call it registration@fullstackclouddeveloper.com. So now when I send the email, that via Sendgrid should be gone. So let's go ahead and restart the server. Okay, and then let's send this test email again. All right, we'll click the button, and we get back the email. And so let's go ahead and now we see that the from is registration, and that via Sendgrid is gone. So now it's registration@fullstackclouddeveloper.com, and the via is no longer there. And then you could see the mailed by is from a fullstackclouddeveloper.com email address. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. In the next lesson, we're going to go ahead and do something with this console log statement.